Is time creeping up on you? Well, guess what? It's not planning on slowing down soon. So, I'm going to give you some tips on healthy aging. Let's get started. Hey guys, I'm Tiffany from Perfect Curl, and thank you for joining me. Today, we're going to talk about factors that can help you to age a little more gracefully. Botox! No, I'm not talking about Botox. I'm talking about personal self-care habits that most everyone can do no matter your financial situation. Although there are about a dozen areas of wellness that you can work on at any given time, there are four main facets of healthy aging, which are moderate exercise, nutrition, healthy relationships, and spirituality. When we were younger, we were able to get away with a lot, and our bodies would just bounce back. Now that I'm 40, I have to be very careful at how I spend my energy because my body is more sensitive to stressors. Whether that's a natural byproduct of aging or a result of the abuse I put my body through in my 20s, I don't know. But I'm very aware of it and I try to be as proactive as possible. Most of my friends are over 30 and are beginning to notice as well those changes. And let me tell you, it's not going to get any easier. So, I'd like to give you some tips to think about how and why you should incorporate more awareness to these areas of aging. Number one, you are what you eat. The one I feel is most important is nutrition. Your body is dependent on good food to function properly. Although all the other factors are almost as equally as important, what I put in my body directly and immediately affects how it runs. Eating a balanced diet of mostly fruit, vegetables, whole grains, with little to no refined sugar and processed food is beneficial. A few important nutrients for an older person are calcium and vitamin D, which both need to be taken consistently throughout life as a preventative measure, and protein. Calcium doesn't necessarily have to come from milk, and more evidence is showing that it's better to get calcium from other sources. Vitamin D helps calcium absorb, so an example of foods that contain both nutrients would be broccoli and salmon, or fortified foods. Remember, vitamin D is fat soluble, so the fatty fish that are high in vitamin D are known as SMASH, which means salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring. Interestingly, I was just in Sweden for a few weeks, and there are many months that they don't get a lot of sun. Swedish summer. Notice I'm wearing a coat, which is an important source of vitamin D, but they do eat a lot of salmon and herring. Funny how nature provides when there is a need. Although getting a well-rounded diet is important, there is another issue: the ability to eat healthy food. If a person has a functional impairment, that can mean they have a hard time cooking or preparing meals. This is why exercise is important because naturally we lose up to 5% of muscle mass per decade after 30 with a sedentary lifestyle. So keeping up with exercise will help with strength and dexterity. Another issue is the ability to chew. About 25% of adults over the age of 60 have no natural teeth. Brushing and flossing every day is important for down the road. A habit that takes less than 5 minutes of your day can make all the difference. And don't skip out on going to the dentist. Prevention is key. An issue that you can't really prevent is the deterioration of hunger and satiety cues. As you get older, your body produces less hormones that regulate this, so you may be hungry and not feel hungry or thirsty. Food also may taste different, blander, so having good dietary habits and understanding how to eat a balanced meal and get proper hydration can only help you as your body changes. Number 2, exercise. The next factor is moderate exercise. Moderate exercise can include walking for 30 minutes a day and resistance training even just 2 times a week. 150 minutes per week is recommended for all age groups, and there is no segment of the population who can benefit more from exercise than the elderly. Hopefully, if a person is involved in exercise, this will stave off smoking and excessive alcohol use, which are both contributors to chronic illness. Being physically active will help support eating a healthful diet and combat sarcopenia, which is that gradual loss of muscle mass. The biggest physical value in exercise is maintaining bone density, which increases as the bones are stressed, and one's sense of balance, which can prevent falls. You can also prevent severe arthritis and improve quality of sleep. Balance is not something that comes naturally. You must work at it to improve it. And there are plenty of low impact exercises that most people can do to improve this. The biggest mental value to exercise is a sense of personal accomplishment and community. Finding value in what one does and having social support are also healthy aspects of aging, and exercise can bolster that as well. Number 3, healthy relationships. The mental aspect has to be addressed as well. Elderly people have the highest rate of suicide in any group. We can't keep sweeping this topic under the rug like it doesn't exist. We've seen 3 high-profile suicides this year, and within 1 year, 2 of my acquaintances committed suicide. Depression in older people can be triggered by the loss of a spouse, no family or social support, chronic medical conditions, loss of functional independence, or difficulty in adapting to new circumstances. Although depression requires medical attention, by having healthy relationships and, if people are retired, finding useful activities like volunteering and other community groups to help maintain and extend relationships is beneficial. I have an aunt who is 97 years old. I've talked about her before, and she's kind of a hero of mine. I'll talk a bit more about her in the next section, but she lives alone in New York. She also walks everywhere she goes, eats a mostly vegetarian diet, and even though most of her family is not close, has great social support. Sometimes too good, where people want to do everything for her, and she has to tell them, I got this. Finding things that you're passionate about now and continuing those hobbies as you age is a great way to build healthy relationships. Number 4, spirituality. There's also the benefit of spirituality. Of course, going to church or worship center can not only strengthen spirituality, but also strengthen social relationships. My aunt is very active in her church, and she is well cared for and highly respected as an elder. However, you can be religious without being spiritual, and you can also be spiritual without being religious. The latter involves self-reflection, awareness of belonging to something greater, and being present, to name a few qualities. Simply put, all of those fancy terms are about finding meaning. Do you really know what is important in your life? Do your daily activities revolve around things that bring you fulfillment? Is there a nagging feeling in your gut of something that you wanted to try or accomplish but haven't made the goals to actually do it? The time is now to get those things in order because, as they say, you probably aren't going to regret the things that you did, but you will definitely regret the things that you didn't do. One of the biggest aspects of spirituality that I now have is an even greater understanding of gratitude. In all situations, there's something to be grateful for. Learning how to live in that space moment to moment is a skill that will help keep you feeling fulfilled when so many things around you are changing. Remember, all of these things are habits, and good habits are built over time. Small changes now can have dramatic effects in the future. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more tips on how to improve your wellness. Peace!